Good afternoon. Hello. Today I am talking to Canon Guy Bridgewater, Rector of Bath Abbey. How are you doing?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It's a delight to be here chatting. I'm doing fine personally. I've just come back from 2 weeks holiday. I went up to Arlington to marry my nephew. To conduct my nephews.
I think I knew what you meant, yeah.
Absolutely. And popped up via the North York Moors because, of course, we can now. We can now travel. Yes. Stayed in an Airbnb. So I'm feeling very refreshed and back ready for some challenges now.
Though I have noticed you've still got your jumper on because although it's April, it's still not particularly warm, is it?
It's a little bit chilly, absolutely. And now I'm afraid we try to survive without the heating, but you give in occasionally, don't you? Then you get some glorious sunshine. We had lovely sunshine up on the moors, so it was lovely.
Oh, how nice. Because I'm sure you absolutely deserved and needed a break because we've all had a fairly peculiar year, but I guess your year, given both the twin things of the pandemic and all the work that's been done in the Abbey, has been almost unprecedented. How's it been?
It has been a real challenge, but very grateful for a fantastic team of colleagues because much a shared effort keeping the Abbey going. Obviously, in terms of services, we've done many of those online when we've been in lockdown. We're back to having 3 services on a Sunday now. We'll go back to the full 5 on a Sunday, which is what the Abbey normally has, probably at the end of September. So we're gradually opening up, but lots of other things not happening. Of course, we've not been able to welcome visitors. That will return gloriously on the 17th of May, as long as we keep to the roadmap. Yeah. And I'm sure the whole city of Bath looking forward to being able to open up the folk who we rely upon and look forward to welcoming back.
I was fortunate enough to have the time to pop in when you were doing your 12 to 1 periods of quiet reflection. And not only did I quietly reflect, I looked at the Abbey it was at the time when none of the chairs had been brought back at all. And it was absolutely stunning to see it just so big and so empty. And so I kind of hadn't realised quite how vast it is until everything was taken out.
It is stunningly beautiful, isn't it? I mean, right now, people are almost more wowed by the floor at the moment than by the ceiling. Usually it's the ceiling that people look up and the fan vaulting is what captures the imagination. But actually the floor at the moment takes the breath away because it's been completely restored. 191 ledger stones lifted, restored, repaired, and underfloor heating put in. It was a collapsing floor. It's now beautifully stable and as you say, completely clear. We are just about to put back in, starting in a couple of weeks, the corporation stalls. And obviously, one thing it'd be lovely to invite the mayor and the trustees and perhaps some councillors to come and retake your seat. Because you probably know the history really well, but Abbey was saved by the corporation of Bath. It had gone to rack and ruin after the dissolution of the monasteries, and the corporation stepped in, bought the Abbey, and then Queen Elizabeth I basically did a fantastic fundraising job to put the roof back on it because it's all been asset stripped and so on. So the corporation store is going back in, very important, and we will invite you sometime over the summer to come and retake your seat, and it would be lovely to have some. There's going to be a whole series of ceremonies as the Abbey gradually opens back up, and as we begin to open up our whole new areas because of.
Yes, I'm really looking forward to seeing that. I stop being mayor next week, so it'll be the next mayor you'll be inviting. But I'm still a charter trustee, so I'd love to come along.
Wonderful.
One of my favourite days in the whole sort of calendar of events it is when we go in for Remembrance Sunday and all the things we do around that, and sitting in the corporation stalls when the sun is just at that level and it's coming through the stained glass is just, it's spectacular, isn't it? We are so fortunate. I think the trouble with Bath is we've got so many wonderful things that if we only had the Abbey and we didn't have things like Putney Street, the Roman Baths or whatever, everyone would be flocking to the Abbey. But now it's just one of the wonderful things that we have. And the new bits just look so fascinating. What's the timeline on those being opened?
Well, they're sort of gradually coming on stream. So basically, I mean, the complete package of the Footprint Project, what it's providing is an education centre for schools, for children, a discovery centre for adults, a song school for the Abbey choirs, some archive rooms. So we're looking after, we've got lots of very valuable artefacts we need to look after properly. Loos, public loos for the first time, kitchen, volunteer restroom, new Abbey offices. There's a whole suite of things, and they're gradually coming on stream. So the Abbey offices we move back into in the next couple of weeks. We're just about to do that. So also with the song school, the education centre won't be open until until the autumn. So we need to be ready for school groups to start coming in. The Discovery Centre, something we're really looking forward to doing is actually having a whole series of open days for the city. Bath Abbey belongs to the whole city of Bath and wider. It doesn't just belong to those who come as the congregation on a Sunday. And we really want people to come and see their Abbey. We'll have a whole series of open days, particularly when the Discovery Centre is open, and that will be next February. So there's a whole sort of gradual opening up with some sort of big party events and so on. No doubt mayors and former mayors will be asked along to some of those, but we want to open up to everybody in the city and come and see fantastic new facilities and come and use them. I could chat for a long time about the possibilities that the Footprint Project now makes the Abbey, because we have that clear space, we can have flexible use of the space. The views were beautiful, but they were obviously set where they were, and you couldn't do anything else in the space. Now there's all sorts of options, the way the Abbey building can be used. The song school is a 2-story song school which has been dug out of the ground. It's quite extraordinary. It's a wonderful resource, but not just for the Abbey choirs. Any choir, any singing group, any musicians in the area who want to hold a concert in this fantastic space now have a wonderful practice room that they can use. So there's a whole suite of things that go with that make that possible. So
I mean, I love to hear that. I love to hear that, because I feel the same about the Mayoralty. The Mayoralty isn't just about the centre of Bath. It is about the whole of Bath, and the same way that the Abbey is. That, you know, we're not exclusive at all. It is something that is part of the city of Bath and needs to be recognised as such. The other thing I was really impressed by, and I don't get too technical with me because I won't quite understand, but the fact that you've been able to use the heat exchange pumps and use a resource that Bath has actually really been wasting for such a long time, I think is great. How did that come about?
Well, that's been literally a pipe dream. Sorry about the pun. For decades, you know, people have thought, well, this is crazy. All the hot water from the Roman baths just gets pumped along and goes into the river. Could we not siphon some of it off? Well, just siphoning some of it off is much more complicated than you think. I mean, obviously you can't, because there's sludge and so on in the water. You can't send that round your underfloor heating pipes. But what you can do is put heat exchangers into that channel and get the heat out, and then warm water which is enclosed within the system, which gets pumped round. So that is actually on now. It's actually working. If you go into the Abbey right now, as you say, we're open for private prayer from 12 till 2 each day. If you go in there and touch the floor, it's actually warm. And those beautiful ledger stones which previously were hidden now have come up to an ambient temperature, and we can just keep it at that temperature. Those days of freezing, and actually the heating's been off since I've been here as rector. There's hardly been any heating. I've got used to freezing and putting on my thermals. Now it's just, that's a fantastic. Obviously it's sort of eco-friendly. We're going to be heating from the centre of the earth in perpetuity. It's not something that can be replicated unless you happen to live right next door to an ancient hot spring. But it prompts us to think more widely about being people who address climate change seriously in other ways, and that's going to be a real focus for us going forward, I think.
That is so good to hear. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon.
Oh, well, bless you.
I'm allowed to say the words on behalf of the City of Bath. I can only do that from the 6 days, but it is the case on behalf of the City of Bath. I thank you. I thank you so much for keeping going with what you managed to keep going with, which must have been quite difficult when you couldn't, as you say, have all the physical services that you'd like to, for investing so much time, money and emotional effort in I don't want to say modernising the Abbey, but making the Abbey something that's now fit for the times in which we live, and opening it up so much. So, as you say, it doesn't belong purely to your congregation, who I know are very, very dear to your heart, but to the whole city. So thank you for that, Guy. It is incredibly appreciated.
Thank you as well so much for all that you do. It must have been really difficult being mayor this year, having to do everything virtually. I've been doing pastoral care virtually or on the phone or whatever. You've had to do your office this last year. Thank you for keeping going and for all that you have done. Thank you. Have a fantastic last week. You can take the chains off your shoulders. Absolutely.
It's still here.
Absolutely.
And I shall pass the thanks on to the team, because as I'm sure you feel with your role, me with my role, I can't do anything without the team. So
right.
It's been a team effort, hasn't it?
Absolutely.
Enjoy. I hope that we have a bit of sun over the bank holiday weekend. Enjoy, and I'm sure I'll see you soon.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed. God bless you. Bye now.